Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Ask Me Anything on YouTube. This is the U.S. team's second AMA for YouTube, and we're super excited to be here with you. We got Brady here with us today.
Hello, everybody.
So big treat there. So bring all your questions. Let us know if you have anything you want to know more about, or if there's anything that's still unclear to you. Oh, let me turn off this volume. That's better. All right, cool. So yeah, bring us your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. It looks like there's not much going on yet in the chat, so we should probably dive into something. Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, totally. We do have some. So we posted on Twitter as well, so we can go ahead and we can go through some of the questions in Twitter too. But if any of you folks here are live in the audience and want your question answered, please throw it in the comments, and we'd be happy to walk through it and show you exactly what that looks like in Ledger Live or wherever you are in the crypto world. Totally happy to show you exactly how to solve whatever problem or question it is that you have. So in the meantime, while people are getting some questions thrown into the chat or into the comments field, we'll go ahead and pop up some of the questions on Twitter, and we can go from there. So, and there may be some folks from Twitter as well that are here watching live. So we will try to get to some of the Twitter questions, but we're definitely going to try to prioritize the folks that are here in the comments field as well. So if you're here, you got priority. Go ahead and ask your questions. So let's see here.
It looks like we did just get a question in on YouTube from Thomas Daria. I hope I said your name correctly. I'm gonna go ahead and read it. So I'm sure you guys have been asked this 1,000 times, most likely. But is there a way you can hack a ledger, or what happens if you lose your physical ledger? That is an excellent question. Brady, do you want to take this one, or would you like me to?
Yeah, sure. How about we split it up half and half?
Let's do it. All right.
So can you hack a ledger? The answer is no. There is physically no way that has ever been found to hack a Ledger Nano device. Now, if you ask, is it technically possible from, in like the world of the universe, is it possible to guess somebody's recovery phrase or their private key? Of course, there is 100% that possibility, but that possibility is so infinitesimally small that it's practically impossible, right? The chances that you would be able to brute force or guess somebody's 24 words or a private key to one of their accounts is a number so beyond our human comprehension. It's you can't even describe what size of complexity that would be. I think some people throw out the analogy is the ability to guess somebody's 24 words, their private key, is the odds of that happening is larger than the known atoms in the universe or something like that. It's like such an infinitesimally small amount. So the possibility is just not really there. In terms of being able to like hack it through any sort of direct connection, our entire secure element is built around keeping the important parts, which is your recovery phrase, completely offline and away from your computer and any network connection. So that's a very long way of answering the question that no, it is not possible to hack a ledger device. And then the second half of your question here was, what happens if you lose your physical ledger? Tim, you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, sure. I actually like to show this to people in case you haven't seen this feature. So, to be honest, losing your Nano is actually not that big of a deal. It's a big deal because it costs you, if you have a LNS Plus, $80, or if you have an LNX, $150, that sucks. But as far as your crypto being in danger, if you lose your Nano or if it gets stolen, it's probably not going to be a big deal, and I'll show you why. So let me switch to the Nano shot real quick, and then I'm going to plug in my LNS Plus to show you what happens. All right, so I'm going to put in intentionally the wrong pin. So we're just going to do 1797, which is not my pin. So you'll see right here it says invalid pin, 2 attempts left. So if I were to enter in the wrong pin 2 more times, it's going to factory reset my device. And in fact, there's no way to even reset this. Let's unplug it. Let's plug it back in. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter the wrong. Oh, see that? It starts off letting me know that one attempt has already been made, and there's no way to go back on that. So if 2 more incorrect attempts are made, this Nano is going to factory reset. And it's going to forget all the private keys. Everything that's inside this Nano is going to be forgotten. And so, and if that were to happen to you, let's switch back to the main shot. If that were to happen to you, of course, you'd be able to restore your nano with your 24 words, no problem. However, for somebody else, this is a showstopper. So it's just a security feature that we have. So it's not that big of a deal as long as you have a good pin. We definitely recommend doing like the full 8-digit long pin. That's the most secure, the least likely someone could guess it. But even with a 4-digit pin, as long as it's random and not tied to something that someone can guess very easily, like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that, the chances of someone guessing your pin within within 3 attempts is not going to happen. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Looks like
a lot coming in.
Yeah, we got a lot coming in. It's awesome. Okay, so Linwood Jones asked how to buy XRP with Nano X. This is a little tricky with XRP because XRP, because of all the regulatory stuff, challenges that it's facing around the world, it's actually not legal to purchase XRP in a lot of different countries, the United States being one of them. And so to purchase XRP, you actually have to do it from an exchange that still offers XRP in your region, or you have to do it from some sort of a service that does offer it and where you can do that. Like for instance, through Ledger Live, you won't be able to buy XRP if you live in the States because all of the companies that we partner with to purchase cryptocurrencies, they follow the rule of the law for whatever region the user happens to live in. So if you live in the United States, you're not going to be able to purchase XRP because it's not technically allowed. Now there are still ways to get it, but you'll have to kind of do your own research and find out the best way for you to get it. Off the top of my head, I think one that still offers it is simpleswap.io, but also be careful using services like this because it is kind of strange for new users if you have not used a service like that. So I hope that answers your question. It's kind of a hard question to answer because it's still a little fuzzy whenever you're talking about regulatory challenges that a certain cryptocurrency is facing, things get a little blurry. Brady, you want to?
Yeah, let's see what else we got here. We have one. So we have Pierre R. Tally. Sorry if I butchered your name there. Can I trade my coins to fiat and transfer it to my bank account? That's a good question. The short answer is not through Ledger Live. Of course, you are able to transfer your funds to your bank account using other providers, but it's important to remember that Ledger Live really isn't built to be like an exchange. Exchanges have certain regulatory certifications and things like that that allow them to pretty much deposit funds into your bank account, and that functionality is just not there in Ledger Live. We are purely a storage and management tool, not so much an exchange. There are some features in Ledger Live that allow you to swap your coins and buy and sell coins as well. I think right now you can only really sell Bitcoin in Ledger Live. But even those functions, buying and selling and swapping, is done through other third-party providers who they themselves have those certifications to be able to perform those actions. Ledger Live itself is not able to do that at all. We're purely just giving you an easy way to interact with those applications through our application, and of course using your Ledger secured accounts. So you'll be able to go and use a variety of different services in Ledger Live to make any sort of swaps or purchases of crypto. But then when you're ready to actually send that money back into your bank account, right, trade that for your fiat dollars and get that into your bank account, you're going to have to use a different service, whether that's your preferred exchange of choice, or there might be, some other services out there that can do that for you. But it's not going to be Ledger Live that's actually going to put those dollars back in your bank account.
Well said.
Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Mouse out of the way. So, there we go. All right. So, GenCode FPV asks, know you're waiting on devs to add Ergo, and let's say, are you working with them to get it done in 2023 natively? So this is a good question. We get a lot of questions about coin support, token support, and when will it be added? When will it be ready? And the short answer to that is it's kind of tough to give an exact date. So you're probably already aware of this if you've already gotten the spiel from from a Ledger agent, customer support agent. But basically, once the team builds a nano app, in this case Ergo, and submits it to us, it has to go through a lot of rigorous security reviews, and it's quite the long process, and it can sometimes require a lot of back and forth between the specific community and our own developers in order to get it just right, so that we can be absolutely sure that there's no security flaws with the submitted app. And so in this case, if we can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, because I mean, so many times we're ready to release an app, but then last minute something happens, and then we already make the announcement. And so we really try to wait until we're absolutely sure that the product is ready to go, ready to deploy to Ledger Live before we can give an exact date. And so I apologize that I can't be more specific about this, but I can assure you that we are working on it.
Yeah, definitely. Those are always tough questions because, you know, our customer support team and the development team are two separate beasts, you know, so they have their own schedule, and sometimes we're a little bit catching up with them, right? You know, things will get submitted and then we catch up to like learn what that is and how to help troubleshoot and things like that. So yeah, sorry for any other folks who might have similar questions like this. It's really hard for us to give you an exact date of when something might be released. If anything, we usually know a couple days before, if anything. So
sometimes we find out from our own tweets, like, exactly. This app is now available.
So, cool. What else we got?
Let's see. All right. So it looks like Sergio. And I'm gonna butcher this. Sergio Azevedo. I'm not even gonna try. You know what I'm talking about. Hello, I have an issue with pairing Ledger Nano X and iOS with Bluetooth. Ran through support and seen the video about the subject on this channel. Okay, great. So Bluetooth is difficult. It is, we get a lot of support questions for this. There are some additional steps you can take. Let me actually switch to our with pairing Ledger Nano X and iOS with Live. We're going to go ahead and pull ran through support and see the video about the subject on this channel. Okay, so Bluetooth is difficult. It is, we get a lot of support questions for this. There are some additional steps you can take. Definitely search this many times, but then you go to here and we have this support article, and I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in the comments. Pairing Ledger Nano X. This is actually iOS Live. We're going to go ahead and pull ran through support and see the video about the subject on this channel. So, okay, this is the best way to troubleshoot Bluetooth connections through Ledger Live. We get a lot of support questions for this. You're on iOS. There are some additional steps you can take. Definitely search this many times, but then you go to here and we have this support article. This is actually not the right article. Comparing Ledger Nano X. This is actually iOS Live. We're going to go ahead and pull ran through support and see the video about the subject on comments for you. So, okay, this is the best way to troubleshoot Bluetooth connections through Ledger Live. We get a lot of support questions. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. We just got told that we had some sound issues, but hopefully what I just did helps.
Yeah, if anybody in the comments could toss in if the audio is okay on your end, that would be helpful.
So, not this article, although this is also a good article. This tells you how to set up your Bluetooth pairing. We're going to go fix Bluetooth pairing issues right here. And I'll go ahead and drop this one. Okay. That's our audio. Give us 1 second. Sorry about this. Is it still duplicating?
Like you have it open or something.
I would say continue on, and I'll check the audio for you.
Okay,
go ahead and continue with what you're doing.
All right, there is a slight delay, so yeah. Okay, cool. So let's continue with this. So the second article I dropped, this is how to fix Bluetooth pairing issues. So if you go down, we're going to go to iOS. You said you were on iOS. So first thing, reset Ledger Nano X pairings. That's going to be on your actual Nano X. And here's the instructions to do this. You're going to want to reset all your pairings. And then step 2. So you basically just go through these steps, basically just forgetting and resetting everything and trying again. That's basically the brunt of it. Let me go back to the main shot. So when it comes to connecting with Bluetooth, it's just kind of finicky, and sometimes you just have to try a whole bunch of times until it works. And other things you can try is if you and this is especially true on iOS, and it's not in the article, but for getting all your pairing, like let's say you have your AirPods, you have all your different devices, your MacBook, everything connected to your iPhone. Try, even though it's kind of a pain and to do, try forgetting everything, and then move away from those devices so that it cannot interfere with your phone, and then go through this from the get-go, from scratch, go through the process of establishing your pairing through your Nano X, making sure that nothing else can interfere with that. And once you do establish your pairing and you do finally get it, then you're usually good from there. But yeah, it's kind of the best advice we can give. And of course, if you go through and no matter what you do, like you cannot get it to pair and you've tried 1,000 times and it's just not working, reach out to us on our support page at support.ledger.com. And it could be the case that you just have a faulty device. It's very rare. It doesn't happen very often, but we'll go through all these troubleshooting steps with you. And if it becomes necessary, we'll replace it as long as it's still within warranty. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see.
We're all good on audio.
Oh, we are?
Yep.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. Thanks, Brady.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you to the folks in the comments for confirming that for us.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Where are we?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions in.
Yeah, we are. This is awesome.
Keep grinding through these.
Yeah. I apologize if I am. Okay, no, well, we're caught up. We're good. Yeah, Sergio, that could be the case. That could be the case that your Bluetooth hardware is broken. Like I said, it is rare, but it's not unheard of. These are, hardware devices, and hardware devices have defects sometimes. So reach out to us, and we'll get you taken care of.
I got a fun question here from Anna Shore, if you don't mind.
Yeah, do it.
They ask, if I just wanted to change one word in my 24-word phrase, could I do that?
That's
What
a
do you
great
think,
question.
Tim?
I don't think you should. I think you should explain to us why not. And while you're doing that, I will pull up some helpful articles.
Yeah, so you can't really change a single word in in your current 24-word recovery phrase. If you were in a situation where you were maybe you derived your own 24-word recovery phrase outside of the Ledger ecosystem, and it was all of your normal 23 words, but you're able to just change one of those words. So your 24th word, for example, was a different word, or even one of the others in that list was just one single different word. That is going to generate a whole completely different list of accounts associated with that recovery phrase, because that's going to be a completely different recovery phrase. Even if you do change just one word in that recovery phrase, it would be a completely separate recovery phrase, unassociated to the other one, and you would have a completely empty list of accounts underneath of it. Now, it would be pretty hard to change just one word in a recovery phrase, because you can't just have any set of 24 words in a recovery phrase. It has to be a certain set of words, which it looks like you're going to show here, Tim.
Yeah.
And they also have to be in a certain order for it to be a valid 24-word recovery phrase. So to answer your question, no, you can't really do that. And two, if you could, you wouldn't really want to, because you would have a completely new set of accounts in the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I'll go ahead and show you the web page I brought up. We're going to go back here to Chrome. So this is the BIP 39 word list. Would you like to explain this?
No, go for it. You got it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love the BIP 39 word list. And just so you guys know, I'm going to drop the link for you here in a second, but you can just straight up type BIP and it's going to finish it for me, because I search for it like every day. BIP 39 word list in Google. You want to find the GitHub for it. And it's just a GitHub link to all these different words. So let me go ahead and drop this link for you, so you don't have to search around for it yourself, in case anybody's interested in checking it out. Okay, so what this list is, so BIP stands for Bitcoin Improvement Protocol. And so this is part of the Bitcoin Improvement Protocol 39, which is a standard that was set way back in the day for generating recovery phrases and where they come from. It's obviously a lot more complicated than that, but high level, that's pretty much all you really need to know about what BIP means and where this list came from. But to understand this list, it is, you'll see it's in alphabetical order, and it's a list of 2,048 total possible words. So you see this 2,048 lines up here. So this is actually where every single recovery phrase comes from. So when your device randomly generates a recovery phrase for you, it pulls from this list at random. And we can get more into what random means if you would like, but for that is its own pretty deep rabbit hole, which I'm actually not that great at. I think Brady's probably better at it, and we actually have another member of our team that's really fascinated with all that. So maybe one of these weeks we can bring him in here to talk about it. But for this high level, your 24-word recovery phrase is pulled from this list. So you wouldn't be able to create a seed phrase of any old word that you wanted. You can only create a seed phrase from this list. And as Brady was explaining earlier as well, the words actually have to be in specific orders. I'm not 100% on exactly how all that works. That's extremely technical from like a developer standpoint and a mathematical standpoint on how that works. I do know that the 24th word or the final word in any recovery phrase, if you have a 12 word, a 15 word, an 18 word, or a 24-word recovery phrase, the last word always acts as a checksum. And so the final word can only be specific words depending on what the previous words are. But anyway, that's very technical, and I hope I didn't bore you with all that. But this is the list right here. But one reason that I'd like to link it and show you guys is because if you ever did have an issue with your recovery phrase, like you went to go import it and you had a hard time, like you got an error message in Ledger Live saying that the recovery phrase is incorrect, you can actually go to this list and kind of troubleshoot that issue sometimes. And I'm going to scroll down and show you what I mean. We actually talked about this last week too, but it's such a good example. It's definitely worth going over again. Okay, where are we at? Alphabetical order. Here we go. All right. So if you see these two words right here, blue and blur, these two words look very similar to one another, and they're both on the BIP 39 word list. So if you have messy writing, like I do, like a lot of people do, and you can very easily imagine a scenario where you write down the word blue, but because your writing's messy, maybe that E looks more like an R. And so now you think that the 18th word, for example, is blur instead of blue. So then when you go to enter your recovery phrase into your nano, let me switch back to the main shot. When you go to enter your recovery phrase back into your nano to import it, like let's say, remember we were talking about earlier the failed pin attempts, which I still have pulled up on this nano, and you accidentally reset it. Then maybe you accidentally put one word in wrong, and your nano is going to accept it because your nano is going to accept any valid recovery phrase that you give it. It doesn't care if it's the right one or not, just that it's a valid one. And so you can be like, you can look at your list and be like, oh man, where could I have messed up? And then you can cross-reference your 24 words against a BIP 39 word list and possibly look for other similar words where it could have gotten confused and try those out. And that's kind of the only way to troubleshoot recovery phrase inconsistencies. So it's a good thing to be aware of.
Yeah, if we get through some of these questions, I'd love to speak a little bit about like entropy and things like that with the device. If anybody's listening and if anybody here enjoys podcasts, there's a Bankless podcast that was recently put out with our very own Chief Technology Officer.
Charles.
Charles, yeah, he's on the Bankless podcast. It talks all about entropy and how the Ledger device not only generates a random 24 words, but so random in a way that you can't pick up on any kind of pattern of 24-word generation, and how we have a bunch of processes and fallback plans in place to be able to stop any sort of pattern creation from deriving 24 words. It's fascinating. So, very interesting topic.
Yeah, very fascinating, and it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it is. It's a rabbit hole.
But you should definitely check out if you don't follow Bankless. They're a great podcast. All right, let's see. Are we? Here we go. All right. Hey, from Jamaica, Roshane Dennis. Hello from America. I'm happy to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. From SO, is it possible to pair a hardware wallet to MetaMask mobile wallet, and what are the overall benefits? Thank you. So not yet, but I can say with a very large degree of certainty that this feature will come soon. And I know that you're probably all getting sick of hearing that from us, but in this case, integration with MetaMask Mobile is a high priority thing that we've been working on, and this definitely will be a feature soon. Unfortunately, as of right now, it's not a feature, so you won't be able to connect to MetaMask Mobile with your ledger. You have to interact with MetaMask via desktop for now, but more to come on that soon, and be on the lookout. In fact, if you don't follow us on Twitter, that's usually the best place to get updates on things. So head over to our Twitter page. In fact, I'm going to pull it up for you so you don't have to search around for it. There's so many scam Twitter accounts. Let me go ahead and just pull that up for you. And I'll drop it right here in the comments. All right. So this is our official Ledger support handle. So follow us there. Our team is great about giving updates. And as soon as MetaMask Mobile integration drops, this is going to be the place where it drops first, probably, the announcement. So check that out. Oh, this is a good question. The AVAX?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we can actually show you some stuff on that too if you'd like. You wanna take the reins on this?
Sure. Yeah, I love
Cool.
love the AVAX questions. I don't really do a whole lot of AVAX myself, but it's pretty fun.
Here's the mouse if you'd like to try on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So AVAX is a little bit interesting. The C chain that you're specifically speaking to is an EVM chain, meaning it's Ethereum based, and because it's an Ethereum based chain, it's actually going to share the exact same address that your Ethereum address is. Any network that is Ethereum based is all going to share the same address. So you'll notice like Binance Smart Chain, for example, if you add a Binance Smart Chain account in Ledger Live, it's going to be the same address as your Ethereum address. Same for Polygon. And it's the same thing also for the AVAX C chain here. And the one thing that's great about Ledger Live is we do, let me look at the token list here. Yeah, so we do currently support the Avalanche C chain token. So you can simply just send that token to your Ethereum address and it will show up for you in Ledger Live. That is a little bit recent because we didn't used to support that anymore, but it is here now on our token list. But what you could also do, and what I would recommend doing, because you're going to have three pretty much different chains when using AVAX, so you should probably just get used to the AVAX wallet, is actually using the AVAX wallet with your Ledger device. So we can go ahead and search here, Avalanche.
Want me to switch to the...
Yeah, go ahead and switch to there. And then do you want to type for me since it's kind of like
definitely.
just Avalanche wallet? Perfect. All right. Yeah, so if you're going to be using Avalanche with your Ledger, definitely get used to the Avalanche wallet. Here's their website here. It's actually really easy to use. And Tim, let me ask you really quick, do you have the AVAX app on this Ledger?
Quite possibly. I have a lot of apps, but I also constantly delete apps when I run out of room.
Yes, me too.
So we may have to install an app.
That's okay. Well, that's good because then it'll be a little example for other people on how to install apps if anybody needs to know that. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is install the Avalanche app on this Nano device. To do that, we need to open up Ledger Live. You want to give me Ledger Live open? Oh, it's just right behind you.
Yeah, you can just drag that down.
Cool. So let's first go into Ledger Live here, and we're going to need to add the Avalanche app. So it's going to ask me to allow Ledger Manager on my device. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that because I want to get in here. And if folks are really new to the Ledger device, to select things, you click both buttons at the same time. Great. So now I am in here. I'm going to go ahead and search Avalanche. I'm going to download this app right here. You'll notice it says requires third-party wallet, and that is the Avalanche wallet that we are getting right now. So we're just going to wait a couple moments. You'll see there's a loading screen here on the device. We're getting this Avalanche app installed on the device. While we're waiting, it's important to remember that the app doesn't have any effect on your funds. These apps don't in any way represent your funds or secure your funds themselves. The app is simply an instruction manual that pretty much tells the device, in this example, what the heck Avalanche is. what an Avalanche address looks like and how to sign an Avalanche transaction. So you can add and remove apps as you need. It won't have any effect on your funds that are on the blockchain. But cool, so now we got this app installed on our device. Let's go ahead and go back over to the Avalanche wallet. We'll just go here, accept all cookies. We'll go here and hit access wallet. And then we're going to use Ledger. They got our old logo. We got to have them update that. Go ahead and select the Nano S here. That is what I have plugged in, is our Nano S model. Ooh, failed to get public key from Ledger device. The reason it said that is because I don't have the Avalanche open, the Avalanche app opened on the Ledger device. So when you're connecting to different wallets with your Ledger Nano, you always want to make sure that the app is open on the device. And you'll know because apps typically have this message that will say application is ready or some variation of that. For the Avalanche app, the message is Avalanche is ready. So now that the app is open on the device, it's ready to connect to the Avalanche wallet. All right, so now it's deriving my Avalanche address that is associated to the 24 words on this device. Cool, so here's your Avalanche wallet. Here's your X chain, which is pretty much your main network for Avalanche, but it's not the EVM one. The EVM one is the Avalanche C chain that I was speaking of earlier. And you'll notice that this address would match your address in Ledger Live that you would see for Ethereum. So if you want to manage your, if you want to secure your C chain tokens with your Ledger Nano, you would simply send your C chain tokens from wherever they are right now to this address right here, and those tokens would show up right here in Avalanche for you. And if you want to bridge over to the X chain for whatever reason, or I think you need to use the P chain for staking, they do have the cross chain app here to where you can move your assets from whatever chain they're currently on to the destination chain so that you can go off and do whatever it is that you want to in the Avalanche ecosystem. So I hope that was helpful. Please put in the comments if that covered your question or if you have anything for us to follow up on. But yeah, did I miss anything, Tim?
I don't think so. That was awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, you even got to troubleshoot a connection issue, which, like, it seemed like such a small thing for Brady to be like, oh, I don't have the app open. But for people, you know, if you haven't actually gone through this process and you haven't actually connected your Nano to a third-party wallet, that could be an incredibly frustrating thing. It's like, it can't connect to my Nano. What the heck is going on? And it's just a little thing. Just got to open that app. One other thing, we actually got a little lucky. I was hoping that it actually would throw this error, but because we are in Ledger Live and we are in the My Ledger tab, this means that the My Ledger tab is also trying to establish a connection with the Nano. And so this could have very easily thrown an error message in the Avalanche wallet, but it looks like Ledger Live was really smart and it cut off the connection to the Nano here in Ledger Live to allow a secure connection here in the AVAX wallet. Now only one app can connect to your wallet, your Nano, at a single time. So if you ever get like a weird, like, cannot connect device 06x03 error, or just some random error code that means absolutely nothing, go back and to your browser, make sure you don't have anything else open that could also be trying to establish a connection to your Nano, because that's most likely the issue there. Good questions today.
Here we are. Love this.
Let's see. Okay, so Kevin Tran, another seed phrase question. I am always down for a seed phrase question. Hi guys, I don't want to use 24 old seeds. The device is still okay. How can I create a new 24 seeds with Nano X? It's a great question. And it's actually something that if you're in crypto long enough, it may become necessary to redo your seed phrase. I'll give you an example. When I first got into crypto, I generated my own seed phrase, and I wasn't too knowledgeable on the importance of keeping it offline and how it all worked. I knew it was important, but I didn't really know. You know, I wasn't educated, and so I actually imported my seed phrase into a web wallet. I won't name the which web wallet it was, but because I did that and then was lucky that I didn't have any malware, I didn't get wrecked, basically, because once you do that, it does expose your seed phrase to the internet, and it does become possible for that seed phrase to get leaked. I was really lucky that I realized what I'd done in time to change my seed phrase before anything can happen. So there's a lot of good reasons to change seed phrase. That's one of them. But if you do have to change your seed phrase, basically all you have to do is completely empty out your accounts that you currently have. You're going to want to do this before you do anything else because your nano. So your nano can only hold. I don't need to switch to the nano shop for this. So your nano can only hold one seed phrase at a time ever. So that means if you want to redo your seed phrase, that means you have to actually factory reset it to generate a new recovery phrase. But if you factory reset it, then you can no longer sign transactions from your device because it doesn't have the recovery phrase associated with your accounts. So personally, I like to use an exchange for this. It's kind of the easiest way to do it as like a temporary safe storage location. So you'd want to drain all your accounts. Like let's say you have Bitcoin, ETH, Doge, and Tron accounts. You want to send all of your assets from all of your accounts to an exchange or to other wallets if you have any. Like if you have another hardware wallet as a backup, maybe you send it to those accounts. If you have software wallets that you trust, maybe your MetaMask or Electrum for BTC. You send it there, you store it there. The point is to completely empty out your device so that you can factory reset it. And once you factory reset your device, then you can just simply go through the process to set it up as a new device again. And that's going to generate a new 24-word recovery phrase, completely different from your last one. Then you can add your accounts and restore your crypto back onto your accounts. And also I will add, even though I just stressed how important it is to completely drain your accounts, if you do this, always keep a copy of any previous seed phrases that you have ever used in the past, because you never know when it's like, maybe like 2 years from now, you're like, oh shoot, like I totally bought some of this coin and it was associated with my ledger and I had it connected to this random web wallet through my ledger and I totally forgot to drain that account. And now if you still have your recovery phrase, you'll still be able to access that account. But if you get rid of your old recovery phrase, it'll be that's it. There will be no accessing the account. So I hope that answers your question, but that's the general process for generating a new recovery phrase.
I love that. Nice.
Yeah.
There's a really cool question from Sweet and Sour. I'm going to go ahead and read this off. I like this question. Sweet and Sour asks, hello, as you may know, there are a lot of scam exchanges out there. My question is it possible to buy fake coins from these exchanges and transfer them to my ledger? Will Ledger know the difference between fake coin or real coin when transferring from my Ledger device? I love this question because it highlights a really important piece to keep in mind when you're using your Ledger device. Your Ledger device is self-custody, right? You have this 24-word recovery phrase. It derives all of these crypto assets or these crypto accounts that I own. I own all of them. I can get access to all of them with this 24-word recovery phrase. But how much else does Ledger protect me? And the answer is not really much beyond that, right? We're here to help you generate a secure 24-word recovery phrase with a high level of randomness, and then we give you a safe to store that in, and then that safe, which is the Ledger Nano, and then that safe helps make it easy to make transactions on the blockchain. But the Ledger Nano device doesn't know what is good or bad in the crypto world. All it knows is the crypto world. It doesn't know what a bad transaction is compared to a good transaction. It just knows that it's simply a transaction. It doesn't know the intent of the human behind that transaction or that token or that NFT. All it knows is an NFT. It's a token. It's a coin. That's all it knows. So it can't protect you from things that are malicious. You have to be the one to tell the Ledger device what is good or what is bad. So yes, theoretically, you could buy a scam token and secure it with one of your Ledger addresses because it's a token that is secured by Ethereum. It might be an Ethereum token. So you're able to send it to an Ethereum address that just so happens to be your Ledger secured Ethereum address. But the Ledger doesn't know if that's a malicious token or not. It just knows that it's a token. So to answer your question is yes, you definitely could do that. You can definitely send scam tokens to your Ledger secured accounts as well. And your Ledger Nano device or your Ledger account would know no difference at all. And furthermore, your recovery phrase isn't like, it's not a Ledger recovery phrase, so to speak. Your Ledger device sure derived that recovery phrase, but once that happens, it's just a recovery phrase. It's a recovery phrase that was generated using the standards outlined in what's called the BIP39 standard. And it is a cryptographic recovery phrase, but there's nothing really intrinsically that ties it back to your ledger device. And your ledger device would have no way of telling you if something is malicious or not. All it knows is that it's a cryptographic transaction or coin or token or what have you.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great question.
See what else we got here. Should I read off another one?
Sure, yeah. It looks like Super Marmot is letting us know about a certain token that may be pulling in the wrong value.
Double with 2 different addresses. Sure, I can look that one up, Tim. If you want.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then tackle another question while I look that up.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. Yeah, we really appreciate when you guys let us know when there's, so basically, to answer that, it is definitely very possible that it is pulling in the wrong value. So Ledger Live is, so none of your crypto is actually stored in Ledger Live. Ledger Live it accesses the blockchain for whatever cryptocurrencies that you hold, whatever accounts that you have that are all derived from your recovery phrase. And then it pulls that information in and displays it for you. And it lets you manage it there, but your crypto is not actually in Ledger Live. That's why, here, I'll just show you. That's why if I go back here to Ledger Live and I go to my accounts, you can see I have this ETH account right here. I can just right now go up here and I can remove this from my portfolio. I'm just going to go ahead and remove it from my portfolio. And then come back here. Let's put the Avalanche app. Let's add that account back in. I'll show you what I'm talking about. The Ethereum account. It wants us to open the Ethereum app, so we're going to go ahead and do that by pressing both buttons. So right now it's synchronizing with the 24-word recovery phrase that's stored inside this nano. And it is using that in conjunction with the ETH app to derive the accounts that can be derived from that recovery phrase. And so it's going to pull in the exact same accounts every single time because it's the same recovery phrase will always derive the exact same accounts in the same order. So I'm going to go ahead and go ETH-S plus to keep that going because that's how I named all my accounts associated with this nano are all crypto-S plus, and that's how I know that it belongs to this nano right here, or more specifically, the recovery phrase stored within this nano. So we're going to add this account and just add it right back in, and you can see it's just there. It is. There's my account again, same exact account. So the reason I bring that up is because now you can see that Ledger Live is not so much the bearer of your crypto, but it's the reporter of what is in your accounts. And so if you have a certain token, we pull in all of our token data from CoinGecko. You're probably familiar with CoinGecko. It's a very popular cryptocurrency site that people use to track different cryptos and stuff, and see the prices, manage portfolios, etc. So we use that as an API to pull in our token values. And so let me pull this back up. So in this case, I can show you kind of how we would troubleshoot this. There we go. So let's open up CoinGecko. And then let's look up this token. It is
VAIOT.
VAIOT. All right, cool. Buy. So we would pull up Vi, and we can see that it's a low cap, so it's a relatively, possibly new, but just a low cap coin. And we can see that it's an ERC20 token. And so one of the things that could be happening is if there is another token in CoinGecko that has a similar or the same ticker, then it could be pulling that in. So let's go VAI. We'll put in the ticker. Oh yeah, so you can see here that we have actually 2 different tokens, Viot, and Vi. And these are completely different tokens that have the same ticker. So probably what's happening with Ledger Live, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that it's pulling in the price for this token. So if you go to your portfolio and you add up the amount of the Vi tokens that you have, and and you multiply it by this price, if it's pulling in that amount for you, then that's probably what's going on. And so at this point, we would go in and we would let our developers know that there is an inconsistency and have them make sure it's pulling in the right data.
Nice.
All right.
I love that. I loved your analogy that Ledger Live is not the bearer of your crypto, but it's the reporter of it. That's perfect.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
That's difficult to understand sometimes because you see
Right.
all of these accounts and all these numbers in Ledger Live, and
Right.
it almost looks like your online banking account with your
It does.
traditional bank, and it's
Very
like,
much.
oh, all of my money is in there.
Yes.
But that's just not the case.
Yes.
It's completely different. It's just one way to view your funds on the blockchain, but it's
Exactly.
not where your funds are.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
All right.
Let's see if I can get another question for you here, Tim. Get One Life asks when the harvest will be available. Is that a token? Is that a coin? I'm not really sure.
I am not sure. Let me see. Let's go to CoinGecko and see if we can find it. Back here.
Heard of it. Actually, I may have. Oh, you know what I think they're actually referring to? They might be referring to the app in Ledger Live that's still showing pending
Oh,
in the
really?
Discover tab. Yeah, I bet they're referring to this harvest.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
That
I have
is
been
a
seeing
good-
that in Ledger Live for quite a while now.
Me too.
With
Yeah,
the coming soon tab.
I see. Yeah.
And to be honest, a lot of these integrations are, it's, two teams working together. I can only imagine, like, intuitively that it's a little bit easier on the Ledger side because, we're simply just giving them a platform to display their app.
Right.
So I would go out on a limb and say that if there's any delay, it is potentially probably coming from the harvest side. It very well could be coming from us too, but if you're in any sort of harvest communities, whether that's Discord or Telegrams or whatever, maybe reach out to some of those leaders there and see if they have any updates for you about when that might be published in Ledger Live. I think that'd probably be the best route.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yep. Good advice. What else we got here? MetaMask Mobile. Yep.
Got that one.
Yeah, we're all waiting on that. All right. Let's see.
I got one for you, Tim.
Going?
Yep.
All right.
Lulu Jones asks, "Hey gents, just to clarify, storing Floki on Ledger, use ETH account? Yes. But do I need a third-party wallet such as MetaMask? I realize that Floki is not supported, but is there an option? Thank you for clarifying." And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Floki is a supported token.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, I'm just going to show you exactly how I verify this for you guys. I'm going to demystify this a little bit. All right. So,
You're going to share our secrets?
yeah, I'm going to go here. Go, and I'm going to check and see. Let's see. Live desktop supported assets. Actually, first, I'm going to go here and I'm going to look up Floki. This is actually the first step that I do. Floki. All right. Yep. So CoinGecko is showing this as a Ethereum ERC20 token. Let's copy the contract address. All right. So it looks like for Ethereum, it is delisted. You can still have it in your account. I'll explain more what that means in a minute. Let me look up. I believe.
Yeah, I think this is the account here. I think we
Yes.
just do have the counter values delisted, which is not a huge deal.
It's just, there we go. Binance Smart Chain. Okay. So on Binance Smart Chain, you actually can store your Floki, and it'll have the balances. So let me show you what we're talking about here. Let me pull Ledger Live back up. So if you were to send your Floki to your account, whether it is your if it's your ETH account, it'll show up here as a token, and it will show up in your ETH account. But since the counter values are disabled, you're only going to see the amount of the token you have, and you're not going to see what it's valued at, because Ledger Live is currently not able to pull in that data. You'll still see it in your account. You just won't be able to see. It just won't count towards your portfolio balance, which can be kind of annoying depending. depending on like how much you monitor your portfolio balance, and it won't be quite accurate. But you can also, if you have a Binance account, you can send your Floki to your Binance Smart Chain account. I currently don't have anything in this account, but this is actually, since I created this, Brady talked about this earlier, but the ETH account and the Binance Smart Chain account are both derived from the exact same recovery phrase. And since they're both EVM, they're actually going to contain the exact same wallet address. So if I, but on the Binance Smart Chain, the Floki token is supported. So you will actually see the price and the value, or the amount of your token and the value of it. I think that pretty much covers it. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
And make
cool.
sure that you're on the latest version of Ledger Live. The latest one for desktop was 2.54 today. That's going to clear up an error that we had with Floki, sending Floki
Yes.
out of Ledger Live. So make sure that you update Ledger Live before you send Floki out of Ledger Live.
Mhm.
Cool. Are you down to maybe rapid fire some of these questions? It looks like there's
Yeah.
quite a few. Let's
Like
see if we can
quick answers.
yeah, just some quick answers, the last 10 minutes, just so
Let's
at
do
least
it.
everybody has a little something to walk away from.
Definitely. Let's do it.
I'll start off. JP Trez says Energy Web Token question mark. Currently not supported in Ledger Live, absolutely, but you can connect your Nano to MetaMask, and then from MetaMask you can add the Energy Web network and manage your Energy Web tokens there. Let's see here. We Seek We Find asks, when can tokens built on HBAR be stored on Ledger?
Okay. That's a good question. So right now, HBAR, we do not support tokens for HBAR for Hedera, and even more, you have to actually create your Hedera account through Hashpack. That's a whole other thing. But like we said before, this is something that will probably be a feature in the future. It'll just maybe take a little bit longer to roll out, similar to how we just recently rolled out token support on the Kronos chain, I believe. As of today, I believe that was.
Yeah.
So that was a long time in coming. It took a lot of work to do that, but that is now available in Ledger Live, and it's going to be the same case with other blockchains that also host tokens. So we are working on it, and it'll roll out eventually.
Awesome, love it. Joseph Antoine Salibi asks, when staking for ADA? I'm not sure. I don't think there's any ETA on that I've heard of. Have you?
No, not that I know of. For now, the best way to stake your ADA is to connect to one of the third-party wallets available. I use Yori. Yori's great. Eternal is fantastic. Even Daedalus. Daedalus is a little bit more difficult. More advanced users use Daedalus, but honestly, Eternal or Yori, you connect to there, you stake, and it's just as secure as doing it straight from Ledger Live. In fact, I'll drop that article. If you want to take the next question, I'll pull up that article.
Yeah, awesome. Corey Fernandez asks and says he just got a crypto seal. Nice job, Corey. Crypto seal is awesome, a good product, and a great way to better secure your backup of your recovery phrase. So right on. Corey also asks, can I add my old coinable wallet address for ETH to my ledger? That's a good question, one that comes up quite a bit, because I totally understand it can be a little bit, it's a little bit difficult to understand. There's a misconception around how addresses are secured with your recovery phrase. So right now you have a coinable wallet that has your Ethereum address, and that Ethereum address and coinable wallet derived from a recovery phrase, right? So that is an address that derived from a recovery phrase. And now over here at Ledger, you have another recovery phrase, your 24-word recovery phrase, that derives its own Ethereum address directly from that seed phrase. And you can't take accounts from one recovery phrase and just paste them onto a system of accounts from a different recovery phrase. It doesn't really work like that. So what you would really have to do is set up your Ledger 24-word recovery phrase, get your Ethereum address that derives from that Ledger recovery phrase, and then simply just send your funds over from your coinable wallet address over to your new Ledger Ethereum address. That's how you would secure those funds. But yeah, you can't just pluck that account off of your coinable recovery phrase and paste it onto your Ledger one. It just doesn't work like that. Cool. Let's see. Oh, and sorry, you said Coinbase. I thought maybe Coinable was some other wallet, but yeah, if you're talking about the Coinbase wallet, I think they have their hot wallet product, right? That
They do.
also generates its own recovery phrase.
Yep.
So same difference. Doesn't matter the name of the wallet. Okay. Can you explain how unstoppable domains work with Ledger Nano X? Unstoppable domains, it's like another form of ENS, right?
It is, yeah. I'm actually not too familiar with unstoppable domains. I'm more familiar with ENS.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar either. So in either case, if you're going to want to go, if you want to go and mint your own domain with unstoppable domains, you're going to have to connect your ledger to MetaMask so that you can connect to unstoppable domains, their application through MetaMask with your ledger accounts connected through MetaMask. So it's kind of like a three-way thing there. So yeah, if you want to play with unstoppable domains, connect your Nano to MetaMask, and then from there you can connect MetaMask to unstoppable domains, and you'll have all of your ledger accounts connected to unstoppable domains, and you can do what you want.
Looks like Guy Smith is asking, will seed phrases ever be antiquated? That is actually a fantastic question, and probably. So there's an idea called account abstraction, and that's basically the idea that the seed phrase becomes more of something that happens in the background, and it's not all on the user to manage. It's way more complicated than that. But look up account abstraction, and specifically, we already definitely not shilling the Bankless podcast, but they have a really good episode of recently about account abstraction where they go in detail on what that means and kind of what this team is working towards to make it much more user-friendly experience for new people coming into crypto. So check out account abstraction. Alex Noof, what about HNT Ledger Live support? Or will it come with HNT support for Solana? So HNT, that is the which one is that?
Helium.
Helium. Helium. Okay, that's an interesting one.
One of our coworkers actually has a Helium miner.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Possibly it may come. It's not supported now, but kind of on the same vein with everything else. And to get a little bit more without going too much into detail, the tokens, the coins, the networks that we choose to support and add to Ledger Live is very much based on the demand of the community. And so the more active users there are, the more demand that we're receiving from users such as yourself saying, hey, when is this going to be, we use this and we can see, we're more likely to spend our time on incorporating those blockchains than anything else. So if it is a blockchain that you are very passionate about and it's growing and the user base is big, then it's a fair bet that eventually it will be supported in Ledger Live, because that's our goal, is to support anything and everything that users want to interact with. We want Ledger Live to handle everything. So that's the goal.
Love that. Robbie asks, can you help me? I have been trying to get my USD exchange and get my money, but I can't do it. I don't know how. Not exactly quite sure the full context of the question, but I will take a shot in the dark because I think I know what you're asking. You potentially have maybe a stable coin, or maybe you have some other tokens that you want to trade for fiat and get back into your bank account, which is totally fair. I think we talked about it a little bit earlier in the stream, but so if you want more of a deep dive, feel free to catch this recording. We went over this in detail in the beginning, but I'll give you a quick rundown here. You're essentially going to want to send whatever tokens that you don't want anymore back to your preferred exchange, sell them there to be able to get that get that value in fiat. Ledger Live doesn't operate like an exchange, so we can't actually sell cryptos for you and then put your money in your exchange. It's just not part of our area of expertise. So yeah, long story short, send your funds to an exchange, sell them there, offload into your bank account.
I was just laughing about the next question. Sorry,
Yeah,
I wasn't laughing at that question. Yeah, that's definitely more of a Brady question. I don't personally follow any sports, but
Yeah,
we hope so.
I will say our location is undisclosed.
Yes.
Undisclosed.
Yes.
So wherever you got the information, you can consider it wrong. But no, I have no idea. Honestly, it's possible, definitely possible. But Blazers have never been an amazing team, but they have had some years that are pretty impressive. So hopefully this year's one of those. Let's see what else we got.
So me go to says, does 25th word make my 24 word seed phrase safer? Will you make new video how to add 25th word? And is it possible to add a 25th word safely to an existing 24 word seed phrase without moving tokens? That really, those are really good questions. That is a huge topic. And to answer your question, yes, we will definitely make a video on how to set up a 25th word and really, really deep dive it. But real quick, rapid fire, because we're running out of time. I'm just going to go through this. Does your 25th word make your 24 words seed phrase safer? It is actually separate from your 24 word seed phrase. So when you make your 24 word seed phrase, you would derive a set of accounts. If you add a 25th word passphrase onto your accounts, you will be required to set up a new PIN code to access just those accounts. Now, those accounts are dependent on the 24 word seed phrase, but they're not really tied to them in any meaningful way, meaning that you couldn't access your 25th word passphrase accounts from the PIN that you use to unlock your normal nano 24 word recovery phrase accounts. And I hope I didn't already lose you because this is an extremely complicated topic. But just know that the 25th word passphrase adds a huge layer of security to your accounts, but only if you know what you're doing. It's also very easy to accidentally wreck yourself with the 25th word passphrase unless you're well versed in how it works. We actually have a really good support article that talks about setting up the 25th word passphrase so you get all the steps to do it. But we'll also make a video from that because that'd be a really good video to have to show how all that works.
Yeah, I would say the 25th word is one of those things where, like, if you've never heard of it, you don't really know what it is, you probably don't need it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it is an incredible layer of security, but your 24 words themselves are also incredibly secure they are extremely secure. I mean, the utmost security is your 24 words, so as long as you protect those words and don't put them on the internet or give them out to anybody, you're good to go. So I almost like to advise people, like, unless you know that you need a 25th word for some unique reason, you probably don't need it, and you may be better off just not having it rather than getting yourself in a situation where you lose access to your funds because you set up a 25th word.
I 100%
didn't really
agree.
know what to do with it.
I've had a handful of cases with trying to help people, like, hey, I set up a passphrase. I can't remember because passphrases are case sensitive. You can use special characters. You can have up to 120 characters. I mean, you can have a whole phrase if you want. It can get real complicated. And if you forget what that passphrase is, even just one letter in that passphrase, you could potentially be permanently locked out of those accounts forever. So just remember that before you set that thing up.
Speaking of passphrases, JPL asked a question that we were actually just discussing today, Tim. How many passphrases, each with its own corresponding password, can we add to the Nano X? One or more? How many? The short answer is you can create as many passphrases as you want with your Ledger device, right? There's no limit to how many passphrases you can create, but you can only store one passphrase on the device at a time. If you were to set up a passphrase, get your new PIN for that passphrase, and then go through the process of adding a passphrase again, a different passphrase, the device is actually just going to set what the last passphrase you just set is. That would be then the actual passphrase that's on the device. So you can set up a bunch of passphrases, have a whole list of passphrase words, but you can only use one of them on the device at a time.
Exactly right. Yeah. That's funny. We actually were talking about that like a couple hours ago. We just happened to be talking about that. That's funny.
I wonder if JPL was in live chat asking that question and then hopped into here.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because we got that question from live chat.
Yeah,
and
that's
we're
right.
talking about it.
That would be awesome. See what we got.
We rapid fire a couple more. And
yeah, I'm down if you are. I'm down to go a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, we got so many good questions. It doesn't bother me at all.
Let's see. We got XDC live support soon. we're working on it. XDC is a pretty complicated chain. Right now, you can access your XDC through my crypto wallet. I think is currently the best wallet to use for that. But it may be some time before it's Ledger Live compatible. But for now, just my crypto wallet. In fact, I'll pull up the board article for that.
Yeah, and while you're doing that,
Yep.
let's see, we have Robbie Henson again asking about getting funds back into his bank account. So if you just have Bitcoin, you actually might be able to sell your Bitcoin through Ledger Live. Just click on the sell tab in Ledger Live. Some folks, because it's all really dependent on your region, because these are third-party providers that are providing these sorts of services. So depending on your region will depend whether or not that provider actually supports your country. So you may be able to sell your Bitcoin directly through Ledger Live with one of our third-party providers there. So go ahead and check that out first. If you're not able to sell your Bitcoin directly through Ledger Live, then you'll need to go set up an account on an exchange. Binance and Coinbase are really popular exchanges that you can set up an account with. And then from there, you can send your Bitcoin from your Ledger account over to your newly set up account on your preferred exchange. And then on your exchange is where you can sell that Bitcoin and get it deposited into your bank account. So, but anyway, back to what you were saying, Tim.
I think I'm good. I linked the XCC article,
Cool.
so you guys can check that out for the XCC question. Let's see. I'm new to this sphere. Sorry, Flying Puma says, I'm new to this sphere. Is it possible that there is a malware on a ledger that has been tampered with? So you actually can't really load malware onto a nano. The only way to actually like load software, any kind of software onto a nano is through the My Ledger tab in Ledger Live. And the only way to do that is to do pass a genuine check from Ledger Live. And so I've never even heard of anyone installing any malware onto a nano. But even if some savvy hacker were to do that, it still wouldn't really be able to do anything. It would not be able to access a secure element chip where the sensitive information is stored. That is kept separate from any other memory in the device. And the only memory that can be accessed through even through the My Ledger tab, where the nano apps are saved. It's just not connected. So that malware, if someone were, I'm just speculating at this point because I've never actually seen it, but I don't think that there's anything that it could actually do. I know that it couldn't compromise your security phrase or your recovery phrase. I know that it couldn't compromise the secure element chip in any way and possibly sign transactions without your knowledge. Yeah, that's kind of the best answer I have for that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think the only situation you would ever run into with any sort of quote unquote malware is applications, like malicious applications.
Yes.
But the amazing thing about Ledger's ability to be able to have a duality, because our Ledger or our firmware is closed source because it's with a third party person, and right, they have their own proprietary intellectual rights around the secure element chip. But we combat that with an open source environment built in around that. So all of the apps are built in this open source environment. So the only way that any sort of malware could touch anything with your ledger is through an application like Bitcoin or Ethereum or what have you. But those applications are built by communities. They go through our intense audit of ledger security standards before they're ever published. And on top of that, they're open source. So all of the community developers would know for certain, they could see for certain if anything was malicious written in those apps. So you're perfectly safe there.
Well said. Thank you.
Next generation says, Portland is where I was born. Good old Monome account.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Not saying we're here or anything in Portland, but awesome. Go Portland. See, so JPL followed up. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. It'd be cool if you guys could add more than one passphrase, possibly, but I think that it's set up that way to prevent to make things easier, to prevent the possibility of someone kind of wrecking themselves. It just keeps things a little bit more user friendly for that. So that's probably the reason that we do that. But I mean, who's to say what's going to be possible in the future with future devices and future software builds. So yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge shout out to Ledger and Hashpack. Yep, I agree. Hashpack is an awesome wallet that works very well with Ledger. And it's really nice that users can stake their Hedera safely from their Ledger account straight through Hashpack. Amazing interface. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Go Seattle. I used to live in Seattle. Go Seattle. I'll go ahead and mirror that. I'm in Argentina. We are starting to exchange crypto on a daily basis. That's awesome to hear for anyone in this community. We always like to hear that.
I know. I love hearing when like crypto is actually used as payment, because like that's this whole thing is payment, right?
Yes.
It's so easy to forget that. I don't know. There's a strong narrative that it's all about like holding and like making profits and like buying NFTs to sell for millions of dollars later on down the road. But that's not the essence of crypto. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to make a bunch of profit. We're here to build a decentralized payment system to where we can interact peer to peer without a centralized government.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the day. What do you think, Brady?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for stopping by. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Minus any unforeseen circumstances, but that's the plan. So make sure to stop by Wednesday. Bring your questions. We'll try to bring some people from the team on to answer questions. We all kind of have our own specialties. So we'll see you next week. Great. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.